Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Greg's Motors More. My name's Greg, and today we got a Craftsman snowblower here. This belongs to a guy I work with. Said he had it last year to a guy who, tuned it up, did the carburetor, all that stuff. He's like, "Oh man," he's like, "it cost me like $200." I'm like, "Okay, like, that kind of seems like a lot." He's like, "Well," he's like, "come out this year and it wouldn't start." I'm like, "Well, did you leave fuel in it?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Well, that's probably why." But anyway, we're gonna dive into this thing. And I'm hoping to not have to take it out of the truck bed because it's heavy. It's a big one. But anyway, as you can see, I got my spark checker hooked up here. So I'm going to bring you guys in here. We're going to check for spark first. I already checked the oil. He said he did drain the tank out. He put fresh gas in it trying to get it started. We're already missing some. He had some little nuts and bolts out of it already. He was kind of messing with it on his own. Don't think he can quite get it. But let's check for spark first and then we'll move forward. Anyway, as you guys can tell, this is a really new one. 208cc overhead valve. I think it's a power more engine, if I had to guess. But I mean, the tires still got knobs on them. It's not all rotted out. I mean, the paint's not even gone off the auger yet. This thing can't even have a couple hours on it. It's got a headlight up there. I got my electric start hooked up already. Got most of the tools out I think we're gonna need. So let me get you guys up here. We'll wheel it over and see if we got any kind of spark. It's flashing. We got spark. Alright, so the next thing we want to do is get this plastic menagerie off of here so we can actually access the carburetor. Then we'll spray some carb cleaner in it, verify that it fires up. Go from there. I got a 10mm on my drill. Drill's fully charged. And there is, let's see here, one. Yeah, it looks like one, two more here. So let's yank them out real quick. Ow. Got my head on the handlebars there. These knobs should just pull off. There we go. And then this should kind of pull up and over that. Pull that off too, if I remember right. That's got to come off. I might have to get a pair of pliers or something for that. I need to get you guys a better camera view here. I'm not standing in the way of everything. Alright. Anyway, so what I'm doing is I'm trying to pull this stuff off. Oh, it's not going real well. Okay. Alright. So we've got that out of the way. And we're in here to our carburetor. Here's our carb inlet. Hoping you guys can actually see that. Anyway, it sucks air through here, so it's pulling the warm air off the engine. Let's just give it a quick shot, carb cleaner right in that inlet. And we'll crank it over and see if it lights. Oh, come on now. Kind of hard to get anything in there, to be honest with you, the way they got this inlet on here. Kind of got to bend your straw 90 degrees to get in there. Alright. I don't think I'm getting anything in there. Dang it, man. What a pain. I know we got some in there that time. Yep, and it fired. fired for a second. I heard it. I'm sure you did too. Alright, so looks like we're going to be taking a carb apart. So let's go ahead and get this primer hose off. There's my little pickaxe. Screwdriver will do just fine. Get that primer hose off. There we go. And then we got our two little terminals here on our kill switch. But we should be able to just let this hang. There we go. Hang like that. Alright. So, it looks like that's our choke. We should just be able to unhook the fuel line here, which I'm going to crimp that off. Pull these two bolts. And then hopefully we can slide our carb out. If we got to take, well, this menagerie is probably going to come off anyway, but let's just start, see what happens. Pull those two little pins off right there. I'm probably gonna have to take these Phillips head screws out so I can lift that off the top of the choke shaft there. That's the way it's looking anyway. If you ever worked on the old school Tecumseh snowblowers, you know they're a ton of fun to work on. This one's not much better. It's kind of easy though. It's not too bad so far. There we go. That lifts off. Set that over there. There's your choke shaft. It doesn't want to move. There it goes. Okay. Alright. You got your vent tube on your valve cover. I really hope you guys are catching this stuff. Maybe I'll bring you in a little more. Got a vent tube right here for your valve cover. We're going to get it off of there. Go. And this plastic piece will come off. The gasket was broken. Pieces weren't even in there. So the last guy probably didn't do an exemplary job on his repairs. I'll have to make a new gasket for that. Alright, now you can see our carburetor is sliding. So the next thing is going to be that fuel line. So I got my needle nose vice grips here. We're just going to come up here and we're going to crimp that fuel line shut. Let me see where my adjustment is. I got them adjusted too tight. I just want to barely crimp that hose off. So I don't want to ruin the hose. But if it needs to be replaced, I got hose. We're going to yank the fuel line off the carburetor here. We'll lose a little bit, but shouldn't be too much. Sometimes these fuel hoses are pretty stuck on here. Surprised this one actually has a metal barb in it. Usually they got plastic barbs on the new ones. Okay, there we go. Fuel line's off. Alright, I want you guys to be able to catch this linkage. So let me see if I can't get you guys a little better view of that. Alright, let me bend this vent tube down out of the way so you guys can see what I'm talking about here. Okay, so right here, your governor spring and your throttle linkage both go right here. So what we're going to do here is we're going to grab this governor spring, take it off, then we're going to rotate the throttle linkage forward, lift that linkage out, set it there. Then the carburetor will come off in our hands. Carburetor's off. Now it's time to tear the carburetor apart. Alright, we're back. Moved over here to the workbench, got the tools out that I think I'm going to need. We're going to dive into this carburetor because it's getting ready to rain. So this is your float bowl. This is a 10 mil. Crack this one loose. Oh boy. Alright, let's try the ratchet for that one. It is on there tight. Ah, okay. There it went. Then take that out. Now give that bowl light tapping. It should come off. Make sure your gasket doesn't hang up. Looks like the gasket's in good shape, fairly new. Okay, we're in the bottom here. Now, let me just make sure you guys can see that. There's some trash in the bottom of that bowl right there. Nothing too extravagant to write home about, but it doesn't take much on these. So, then you got your needle valves here, your float. It's right there that lifts your needle valve up and down. We're going to pull this pin out, put it in the bowl for right now. Then we'll lift our float and our needle valve up, flip your carburetor that way so your needle valve doesn't go falling out. Set all that over there in your bowl so you don't lose it. Now, if you look down in here, you should be able to see there's a spot for a flat blade screwdriver in there so we can turn out the main jet and the emulsion tube. Hopefully it'll come out. I might have to get a different screwdriver. I'm gonna have to get a different screwdriver. Bear with me there. Now on these Chinese carburetors or even on a Honda, you have to get in there and get that jet out. If you can't get the jet out, you're not gonna fix it. It might run, but it's still gonna have a surge or something else wrong with it. Still not sure that's coming out. Oh man. Alright, dang it. Well, I just noticed something. I don't know if you'll be able to see it on the camera or not. Somebody has cross-threaded that jet in there. That's why it's not coming out. So you can literally crank on these and destroy the jet. So, I don't have a spare carburetor for this. So what I'm going to try to do for right now is I'm going to try to get it running without that. We're going to take our piece of tag wire here and go ahead and run it down through the main jet. Try to open that up. Spray through it with some carburetor cleaner. But anyway, there is an emulsion tube down in here that has all kinds of really, really fine and tiny little holes. Probably, where's the smallest one on here? That rod right there will barely fit through those holes. And if you can't get them all open, a lot of times it will surge or it will run rough. But anyway, we are getting good fluid flow through there. As you can see, that passage is cleared. We're going to go ahead and blow through all the passages on the carburetor just to make sure that they are indeed open. Make sure our primer jet is Good hole is open. And it is. Right. So that's about as clean as we're going to be able to get this carburetor. In all reality, it needs a new carburetor. I know this guy doesn't want to throw a ton of money at it, and if I can get this put back on and it runs fine, then we're not going to worry about it. I'll tell him that, you know, if it starts acting up again, the carburetor is going to need to be replaced. So now we're going to look at our needle valve right here. And it's got a rubber on the end. You want to make sure the rubber is still pliable, which this one is, and you want to look for it and just see if there's any nicks in it or anything like that. There are not. So we're going to set that down. Next, we're going to clean out our bowl. Make sure we get all that trash out of there, because the slightest little thing can mess up this jet. We plug up the jets in this thing. Now we're going to put the carburetor back together. And as you can see, it is a carburetor, you know, from the land of Chinese goodness. So we're going to go ahead and slap her back together. We'll put it on there and try it, see what we got. I drained the fuel tank on it while I was doing this, so we should have a decent flush on the fuel tank, because he said he put fresh gas in it. I'm going to believe him on that. Now we're going to check our needle valve and make sure it's sealing. So we're going to blow in our fuel inlet right here and just make sure it's seating. And it is. So now we're going to lift the float a little bit, open it up. Hopefully you guys could hear that over the wind noise. Probably not. That's working correctly. Now we're going to go ahead and put our bowl back on. So if you look at this bowl, you can see this indent here and that there. So your float downhang you want over here, like this. We're going to slap that back on there. Our gasket down here looks new, so that is good. So we're just going to go ahead and put that on there, and then we'll tighten that back down. And then we're ready to head back over to our machine. All right, I ran a little more fuel through that tank to kind of flush out any impurities that might be in there. We're going to go ahead and start slapping this thing back together. It's going to go on just like that in reverse order. So we're going to line it up with the studs. We can see our gasket is still here, still in good shape. Line it up, stick it on there. First thing you do is turn this, stick in your throttle rod, shove it back a little more. Go ahead and hook up your governor spring, just like so. Push the carburetor back in. Gonna hook up our fuel line while we're right here. Put our clamp on. All right, now at this point right here, I take my vice grips off, and this is where we want to check for bowl leaks on this carburetor. So I'm going to give it a little more fuel in the tank just to be sure there's some in there. And that should be plenty. Because if the bowl gasket's going to leak on that carburetor, it should be doing it now. Make sure you're doing that, checking that before you get it all put back together, because if you don't catch it now and you get that plastic shroud on there, you're probably not going to see it until it's dripping on the ground or it's on fire. Alright, so apparently the internal storage on my phone just got full because it shut off the video, so I don't know how much of that you heard. But anyway, I was saying, once you get this plastic outer shield on this thing, you're not going to be able to see if this bowl's leaking. And ours is not. It is nice and dry. It's been sitting here for a little bit now. So we're going to continue to put this back together. So the next step is we're going to put this outer piece on, and we're going to hook up our primer to the carburetor, like so. Now we're going to put this little outer piece here on. And then that's as far as we're going to go for right now, because we're going to fire it up without all the plastic shielding on there to make sure that we're doing good. Took your little vent tube up off your valve cover. Put that on over that. Start your nuts. All right, let's tighten our nuts down. Don't want to over tighten them, it's just plastic. It's plastic and aluminum. It works very easily. That should be good. Choke's closed. Let's get this gasoline pan out of the way. Alright, so we're going to give it a couple of pumps on the primer here. And I could already see gas pulling into the carburetor. We're going to crank it over, see what happens. Sorry for the wind noise. Roll in. Here goes nothing. We got our choke too much. You know what? I got the throttle all the way closed too. That doesn't help. We're backfiring off the carburetor. You might have a valve problem. Interesting. It's not what I expected. Let me go get my carb cleaner. Come on, that thing should have lit off and ran by now. We lost spark. Why'd we lose spark? I wonder if it's because I can't imagine that would be it. Maybe it is. Alright. Interesting. So we're going to pull these off the switch. Actually, you know what? We're going to jumper them together with a vice grip. Why not? Not going to hurt anything. Now do we got spark? It's weird that it was backfiring for a second and then it stopped. It's almost like the coil took a crap on it while I was doing that. Interesting. Very interesting. I think I'm going to pull the plug out and have a look at it too, just to see. I'm going to have to wrap it up here soon though. I'm getting ready to get rained on. I still have to go to work yet. So that means I probably will have to unload this off the truck today. not have to do. It ran for a second. Double check, make sure my spark tester didn't take a crap off. No fire. Okay, there we got fire. I guess the throttles are shut off as well, so that was nice. Oh. That'll jumpstart your heart. Okay. Oh man, it's getting cold out. It's definitely getting to be snowblower weather here in the central Illinois. Get on there now. Cool. I knew I saw a spark before, but I didn't. Oh, that makes sense. And it's starting to rain. Alright. Plugged in. Put our wire back up. Let's try it again. I got the choke set a little bit because it was surging. I'm going to take the choke back off now that it's warming up a little. Here it's starting to surge a little bit. I bet when I engage that auger, I bet it's going to do more. Let's load it out a little bit. All right, not bad. Okay. It's got just the slightest hint of a surge in it because we couldn't get that jet out. I'm going to try a little trick here and place my hand over the intake real quick to create a bigger vacuum in there, so maybe it'll pull whatever piece of stuff is stuck in there out. It's a last ditch effort. Yeah, it's still surging. All right. Now, how's it going to restart? Let's try it with the pullover. Center choke. Okay. I think it's probably going to be good enough for who it's for. I'm going to shut it down. We're going to put it back together. All right. So we got to put this top back on over this. And it's starting to, the rain's starting to pick up. I'm going to get dumped on here in a minute, so I need to hurry up. All right, where's my screwdriver at? Okay, it's on my drill. Okay. Now we want to make sure we loop these lines back up right where they go. Put that one in there. Driver hose needs to go back in that hole there. Oh yeah, here comes the rain for sure. I need that little screwdriver. Oh, nothing like working out in the rain when it's cold and windy. When the tools get wet. Go down through there, you booger. Maybe that's not supposed to go there. Maybe this is supposed to go. Okay. Yep. Alright. Okay. Alright. Up. Through. There. That over. That up and over. Buddy. Why are you not lined up right? You should be. Come on now. Alright, there's that. Grab our bolts that we took out. We're almost finished. Matter of fact, I can probably just go ahead and probably can just go ahead and finish this video here. Just shut down. Oh boy. What's going on here now? Not lining up right again. Okay, there it went. Yay. I am not ready for winter. Not ready yet. Okay. All right. All right, guys. Well, it it wasn't the repair I wanted it to be. I wanted it to be a complete carburetor repair. I wanted to get that jet out, clean through there. But at least we got it going good enough the guy can blow some snow this winter when the snow starts flying here in a little while, because it's temps dropping. I mean, it's 40-something degrees today. It's cold, it's chilly. But anyway, we got her running. She's ready to go. Right off. Anyways, I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch my channel, listen to my rants. And remember, you know, we all try to be more like Jesus every day, just like this carburetor. It's not perfect. None of us are. Nothing in life ever is. But, you know, Jesus died on the cross for your sins and mine to cover those sins and make us sinless before God's eyes so that we can be together with Jesus in heaven forever. Again, I can't thank you guys enough for watching, listening to the channel, subscribing, leaving me comments. I really appreciate those things. Thank you guys very much. Have a great day. God bless you.